Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to our special annual general meeting. We had a meeting in June, and we had to inform you also about our special meeting because of the financial statements. But thank you very much for joining us today on this meeting. I'm honored to welcome you and also grateful to and appreciate your commitment and engagement with the fund. Today's meeting, as I've indicated, is really just about the review and the approval of the financial statements for the year that ended 2024. These statements not only reflect NMC's financial position and performance, but also our commitments to and a testament to accountability, transparency, and also the commitment to the well-being of our members. So I do trust that you have had an opportunity to look at the financial statements that were circulated in the pack with the invitation, and also that we encourage you to participate in the meeting, contribute in the discussions, and also our team is here in terms of our financial team and also the auditors who can provide some guidance or some clarification if there are any questions with regard to that. So with that, I think, Joanne, we can proceed with the agenda and then we take it from there. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. So just in terms of the constitution of the meeting, we need 200 proxies for this meeting to take place this morning. And I just want to confirm that we have 14 members present, carrying 236 proxies in total. We have 21 members online. We have an additional 9 members in person. And today we have 3 trustees in attendance. We have Aune, we have Ms. Van Wyk, and we have Ms. Johanna Iambula. Thank you. And then we also have, I see we have representation from NAMFISA here this morning. We also have E&Y, who is our auditors. And we also have some staff from the NMC office. So the meeting is well constituted. So just in terms of the notices that we sent out the notices for the special general meeting, and we published it in the Namibian of the 10th of July. We also sent out an email to all our principal members on the 16th of July and the 4th of August. It was published on our social media platforms on 11 July, 12, 13, and 14 August. Then we also put it in the Republican of the 11th of July. Then in terms of our notices for the downloads that are available, we sent out an email to all our members on the 12th of August with the pack for the meeting today. Okay, and then I've already mentioned who is in attendance today, so the meeting is constituted. Thank you so much. I'm then going to hand back to Aune to take us through the annual financial statements.
Okay, maybe before we start, I just want to know, given the fact that there are those members online, if I don't know how we get an indication that they can hear us. We good? Okay. No, thank you very much. Yeah, so financial statements were presented at the previous meeting. However, because of the requirements in terms of the IFRS 17 and also the consideration that or input that we have received from NAMFISA, there was a delay in terms of finalizing the financial statements because of those changes that were required. And also the delay had also given us time, and we have also gotten an approval from NAMFISA in terms of the extension for submission of the financial statements. So the order that we're doing now in terms of approving of the financial statements in August is not the normal course, but basically that's the reason why we are only tabling them now because of those changes. So basically, in terms of the accounting standards, IFRS 17, which did not consider the Medical Aid Funds Act. There was then a requirement from NAMFISA for certain changes in the financial statements, or in the way that the 2023 financial statements were presented. And also that also then led to a supplementary note that was submitted to the Public Auditors and Accountants Board for approval, and that we have received now, and hence also the finalization of the financial statements that we are presenting to you today. So in terms of the, basically the statement of comprehensive income, the revenue that we have received in terms of contributions, it has increased from 1.8 billion from 2023 to 2.1 billion, and subsequently also the expenses that are pegged to the services that was provided in terms of claims and also operational expenses. There has been an increase, as we can see on the table that is on the board. And then also an investment income that also have increased, and basically I think all the figures from 2023 to 2024, we have seen an upside to that. In terms of the financial position of the fund, as at 2024 December, total assets, we have seen a good year in terms of the reporting for the financial position of the fund, where we have seen total assets of 946 million, made up of current assets of 935 and non-current assets of 10.9 million. Subsequently, there's also liabilities, which are made up of the mutual fund and the contract liability of 740 and 200 respectively. That resulted then in us reporting a reserve level of 34.75% and also a solvency level of 43.13%, which is a good improvement from the previous year, and also which is indicative of a good performance for the 2024 financial year for the fund. And then briefly, just this table is a statutory income statement per the requirements of NAMFISA. And these are also the changes I was referring to. So the requirements is that we need to indicate they have spoken to about 2.1. So the insurance service expense, which is your claims exclusive of the surplus. That's the word I was looking for. Yeah, thank you. So the exclusive of the surplus of 1.8 billion. So the fund is so we have then been able to comply with the requirements of NAMFISA in terms of the presentation of that table. And further on is also just an extension of the presentation of the results again in terms of other income, where we have 79.9 million, other expenses of 16.4 million, and then also basically maybe the highlight here is then the adjustment in terms of the IFRS 17 adjustment that we referred to in terms of the surplus of 294. And then there's just a table at the bottom, which is indicative of the movement in terms of the regulatory surplus that I've been referring to. And in terms, and then it just starts with an opening balance where we started off 2023 with a 390. And then during the year, the movement was a 54.8 with a closing balance, which became our opening balance for 2024 of 445. With the surplus for the year of 294, and then a closing balance is at end of 2024 of 740 million. And this is just a note that has been incorporated in the financial statements that is really referencing to what I have just spoken about in terms of IFRS 17. where we are required to disclose the accumulated surplus as a liability to current and future members, and also that it states that in terms of the fund rules, members have no right to these funds except in the event of liquidation or a wind-up of the fund, and accordingly, the insurance liability due to the members is treated as the fund's reserves. And this is in line with the requirements of the Medical Aid Funds Act. This is just a supplement also in terms of the notes in the financial statements that is continuing from the previous note that I've just read now. Maybe just also a highlight here is just the reconciliation of the surplus and also the adjustment that is being made in terms of the IFRS 17 adjustment, the amounts that it's attributable to members, and also net off with a zero. So with that, I think this is also just a reconciliation of the same in terms of the surpluses and the closing balance that we have seen now in, for the fund of 740 and also in terms of the group 741. So, and that is the presentation of the financial statements. I don't know if there's any questions or comments, clarification that is required before we can move to the approval of the financial statements. Thank you. Okay, maybe then in the absence of the questions or comments, can we get a proposal to approve the financial statements for 2024? They're giving you a mic.
Thank you. So my question is the current pricing model adequate to keep pace with medical inflation and utilization trends?
Yeah, so for the year that we are reporting on, we have seen that it has been adequate. Hence also we have seen good results in terms of our net position and also in terms of our reserves and solvency. The requirements from the regulator as well, we have been able to keep to that requirement. In terms of the claims also, we have been able to meet all our claims. So the contributions have been sufficient to cover the claims that we have and also operational expenses. So I would say the pricing model is adequate at the moment. Yeah.
Thank you.
Is there maybe another question before we move to the approval of the financial statements? Okay, maybe in the absence of that, can we get a proposal to approve the financial statements as presented? Thank you. Any secondment to that? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. We didn't receive any notices from any members on any matters that they would like to additionally discuss this morning. So we're going to move to close the meeting. If there are any members that have questions, in general questions, we will handle those after we've closed the official meeting. Okay. Okay, so then I'm going to hand back to Arno. Do you want me to do the thank you and close? Okay, thank you so much for availing your time this morning. Also for our members online, we really appreciate it. Please know that we are working hard at NMC to bring you the benefits that you so rightfully deserve. With our new Board of Trustees and the new members that were elected, we're moving forward. We're going to look at our strategy again early next year. And we're going to bring you, hopefully, lots of new and exciting things. Thank you so much for being loyal members of NMC. We really appreciate that. Thank you for everybody that made this morning possible. TBWA, our office staff, Ben, Leilani, Zurika, thank you for all your support. For our trustees for supporting us and for attending today, thank you so much. We appreciate it. Okay, thank you also to MetHealth. I didn't acknowledge them earlier. My deepest apologies. Thank you so much also for always supporting us and for being here. We appreciate it. Have a wonderful Friday and a wonderful weekend, and thank you so much for coming. Thank you. I just want to mention that there are some snacks and coffee on the outside when you move out. And then anybody that has any questions they'd like to answer, you're welcome to stay behind now. We'll be very happy to answer your questions. Thank you. We'll give it just 5 minutes and we can continue with the questions and answer session. Thank you so much.
Actually, I should have submitted my question before.
Sorry, sir. Can we just give the gentleman some silence, please, so he can ask his question? Sorry, excuse me. Okay, please go ahead, sir.
My question I should have actually addressed or submitted beforehand, but I lost the opportunity.
No problem.
But the issue does not, it's still persisting. And it's also a question which your front desk personnel in your office cannot easily just answer. You know, so I would like to address this to the financial planners or executive. I'm a long-term member of the category Sapphire. Presently, with one dependent, we together pay just below 150,000 membership fees. The service for the eye operation of my wife, and I had one 5 years ago, was well funded, well covered. But I have an issue with small. I go for an X-ray, and the X-ray people say, no, your fund doesn't cover that. And that is a minimal, let us say, in terms of the contribution, that is maybe 700 or so. So they expect to pay me, that I pay. Yeah. And I'm upset because for 150,000 or make it, cut it down to one member, 75,000 or what, that is, to me, doesn't make sense. Then it happens that I am privileged to be in good health, but the dependent, which is the mother of my children, her expenses with chronic medication is also well covered, I must say.
Okay.
But then it also happens that when I go for a dental treatment, that suddenly the fund says, no, it's used up. But I didn't do anything used up in that year. So I use very little, but my dependent uses quite a lot. I wonder whether you can explain how I can, and also the Institute of Pathology. They, I expect that it's paid, but and they don't come back often. Now suddenly they come and they want another 2,000, but it's running over 2 years. Yeah. So the issue of the X-ray, let's say, and the extra payment for the Institute of Pathology, if you have an answer for that.
So it's a challenge for me to answer your specific query if I haven't looked at your case and I haven't investigated, I haven't seen what the claims were, what is the family benefit, what is, what has been used, for example, by your dependent. But I can maybe just respond in general, and we'll get your details, sir, and I think we should sit down with you so we can look at it and we can give you a specific answer. But there's a couple of things that come to mind. Firstly, all the medical aid funds in Namibia pay according to a NAMAF tariff. So NAMAF would set forth a tariff and say this is the price to be paid for a doctor's consultation, for example. But in Namibia we have a free market society, so which means that the doctors can set their own prices. So saying that we are willing to pay, let's say $550 for a GP consultation, and that's the NAMAF tariff, but the doctor charges 700 Namibian dollars, for example. Whatever the doctor charges above the NAMAF tariff is a payment for the member. Then also on NMC we have family benefits, like in your example, where you and your wife have a family benefit. So whoever is ill can utilize that benefit until it's depleted. So I'm suspecting what happened in your case is maybe that your spouse made use of the benefit, and then when you needed it in the same year, the benefit was depleted. That also happens. So I think for me to be able to answer your question, I would need to look at your specific benefit statement, your history, to be able to assist you. But those are the two issues that comes to mind at the moment, which could be an explanation from why you're having the issue that you're having. Okay. Okay, we have some online questions. Okay, so this question says, good day, what will happen to the member if he will change work from one company to another company through transition, or he lost his job or his contract ended? Will NMC pay the member his or her remaining funds back to him or her? I have no idea which funds this member is referring to or which option he's on. So it's very difficult for me to answer. Usually, when your membership ends, it ends, and then when you go to a new employer, you start a new membership. I'm not sure what funds he is referring to. Okay, another question. Can we please allocate funds per beneficiary per year, even if the beneficiaries fall under one main member? This will help greatly for members with beneficiaries who are not from the same mother. Can we please allocate funds per beneficiary per year? Okay, so I'm guessing what the member means is that they want us to categorize in a family that dependent 1 has this benefit value, dependent 2 has this benefit value. The reason why we have a per family benefit, so let's say, Jan, can you please help me? If you have a family benefit, just an example of a day-to-day family benefit.
Thanks, Joanne. And just in explanation is that if you have a family benefit and only 2 members in the family unit utilize benefit, you can actually utilize the full amount. But if you have per beneficiary, you limit the
Yes.
beneficiary. So if the beneficiary only, the entitlement is only 3,000 and you need more, and I've depleted as a beneficiary my benefit, I don't have access to the rest of the family benefit. That's why we rather make use of a family benefit. Similarly on the chronic medication as well. Okay.
Yeah, the idea with the family benefit is so that the beneficiary on the medical aid, on your dependent, needs that benefit, that it's available when they need it. So that's the reason why we don't have a per beneficiary limit for each of your dependents on your medical aid. I hope I answered that question. It's difficult if we can't just confirm with the person what they mean. Okay, then we have another question. Good day. What will happen to the member if he will change work from one... sorry, I've already done that one. I have a question concern about the Hollard travel insurance for NMC members. I've recently discovered that the excess is 20,000 and it seems a lot to me. Also, that access is not clearly shown on the policy schedule provided. So with the international medical travel insurance, what happens is we only insure our members for incidences above 20,000. Okay, so what this means is when there's an incident overseas, and you need to be hospitalized, for example, and there's an emergency because the travel insurance is only for emergencies, then Hollard will actually cover that claim. For all claims less than 20,000, the fund will pay for that claim as long as we have a valid NAMAF tariff. So the only difference is everything above 20,000 is submitted to Hollard to be processed. Below 20,000 for international medical travel insurance, the fund will still pay it out as long as there's a valid NAMAF code. Okay, then question 4. Good day. This is a general question in regards to my option Jade. Why does it show that I can claim for frames the amount of 1,090 if it's not claimable? I claimed for 2,460 optometry, but was informed that the amount for frames are included in the 2,460. Why not say frames and optometry 2,460? Okay, I'm going to hand this question over to Jan. He's basically our specialist.
Okay. Thanks, Joanne. So if you look in all on the publications, we normally give you a benefit, an optical benefit. Underneath that, we specify the frames, and that frames is included in your optical benefit. So you have a main benefit, and underneath sub limits, and it's related to your main benefit. That's how we put it in our publications as well. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jan. Do we have any more questions from the floor, perhaps? Any members in attendance that would like to ask a question? Okay, ladies, gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. Thank you for staying until the end, for posting your questions. We do appreciate it. And now I'm going to say have a wonderful Friday, have a broodjie, have a coffee, network with us. We're here to also talk to you. But thank you so much. We appreciate it. Goodbye.